So this is part two, basically, of being mixed in America. And the other video is like almost an hour long, so I'm gonna try and make this less than that. But it's something that I have lived, and I can tell you, um, I've told you guys many stories about this before, and I can tell you, when people don't know what you are, it kind of makes it difficult for you to explain it to people because you have to be there. You literally have to be there. You know, you literally have to be there. You have to be in that moment when it's happening. Because if you don't, you will not know. Damn it, I done shared this damn thing twice. Okay, well, that solved that problem. But anyway, yeah, when you were mixed and, filling out jobs is kind of funny. And, certain things happen to mixed people that other people don't get. And they can't really manifest it. And they really can't. You know. And it's like one of those things where it happens to it's one of those things that you really have to be in the moment. In the other video I touched on like jobs and shit like that and people. So I gotta touch on like one more thing and I'm gonna end it because I've given you guys this story before. But I'm gonna touch on it because it's my life, and it's funny as hell that this has had to happen to other people. It couldn't have just happened to me, but then again, it could have just happened to me. I'm nobody super special or whatever. But okay, so when I was 16, I was a dishwasher at Kegler's, and as I said, there was a guy who wouldn't stop calling me Chief. That wasn't the only place where people would call me Chief. And it's been an ongoing thing in my life where people were like, hey man. And, sorry. It would happen where people would be like, totally brazenly bold about it. Gotta have tea. It truly is the best drink on earth. For me. Maybe not for you, but for me. So, people tend to not consciously be aware of how they ask you questions when you're mixed because they're not sure how to approach you. But, one time I was doing a jump and spin kick in Richmond at a Coke machine just to see if I could, get as high as the Coke machine. And this white cat came up to me and he goes, hey, bro, can I ask you a question? You study martial arts? Yeah, that was cool. But that wasn't the question I had to ask you. But since that was my icebreaker, now can I ask you the question? So I'm like, okay, what's the question? He goes, are you mixed? And I'm like, yes. Yes, I am. I am mixed. He's like, okay, well, what are you mixed with? I can see that you're black, but what else are you mixed with? It's like, yo, dude, I'm part Native American, I'm part white. It's like, nah, I ain't got that. It's like, okay, what do you got? You might be part Chicano, man. And I said, yeah, that's Mexican. I'm not Mexican. It's like, you sure? I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm part Cherokee Indian, part black, I'm part white. If there's anything else in there we don't really know, because my mom's mom was adopted and raised by black people, but her dad was half black and half white, but he looked more white than black, so yeah. My dad's dad was black, his mom was Native American, and all of their kids look black, and all of the grandkids look Native American. Therefore, me and most of the girls, actually, if you want the God honest truth on my father's side, the people who look mostly Native American is me and most of the girls. All right. So yeah, a lot of my dad's nieces look very Native American versus black. So when you say that they have an exotic look, there you go. Anyway, that being said, I have been approached by many people who have no idea what the hell I am. And most of the time, most people are kind of scared to ask mixed people what they're mixed with. But here's the thing, if you approach it properly, there's really nothing wrong with it. And honestly, for me, I don't care if you ask. In fact, I'm so sure that people are going to ask anyway that I just expect it. You know, I don't ever expect someone to say, "Hey, man, you're Cherokee, you're black, and you're white," and I pulled it out of my ass. No, that's never happened. Most people, we will have a conversation, and then it's like they want to ask, but they're scared to ask, so they'll find a way to read it in. And I'm like, dude, just ask what you gotta ask and get the shit over with. I'm going to answer you. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm just gonna tell you the truth. Yeah, I'm going to answer you. It's not something that I'm ashamed of. There's nothing I can do about it. You know, I can renounce my blackness at any time, but biologically I can't. I can renounce my whiteness at any time, but biologically I can't. I can renounce my Native Americanhood at any time, but biologically I'm still going to be part of all three. So I just deal with it. But yeah, it's really an approachable topic. You know, it's a very approachable topic. Now, have I been in situations where I have been uncomfortable because of the topic? Yeah, damn right I have. Because I've been in places like I will go with friends somewhere, and even some of my mixed friends, because my mixed friends generally deal more with probably more white people than black people. Hey, I'm not trying to throw you guys under the bus, but you know who you are. So, you know, when you're mixed and you're dealing with other mixed people who mostly deal with either the white side or the black side, you're kind of fucked because white people are brazenly bold, and sometimes they are respectful and sometimes not. But they will come out and be like, all right, so my son's mixed with black and white. What the fuck are you mixed with? Well, sir, if I may be blunt, I am part Cherokee Indian, as well as black and white. It's like, you don't know about you having that damn white in you. But we can see you got a little black in you, brother. It's all good. You know, happens. You know, but like I said, it's really the approach, because it's always a thing. When you are mixed, people are going to be hesitant at first to ask you, but somewhere down the line, maybe that same day, maybe that same hour that you meet them, they're going to ask you. If they're not going to ask you, they're damn sure going to ask one of your friends, whoever brought you there. They'll be like, yo, what's up with the cornball? Is he mixed? You know, he don't act like normal black people. Or he doesn't act like a white person. Or he doesn't act like anything else. What's wrong with that fella? It's like, hey man, mixed kids. We have a whole different aspect of life. I mean, you have more than one culture that you have to understand first and foremost. Let me save this damn game. Oh, can't save it. Anyway, I can save it before we get started or whatever. But anyway, it's Mass Effect 3. But anyway, the whole thing is that people want to ask mixed people things, but their approach is off, and they're kind of scared to do it, which also tends to be a big CF. So, you know, the thing is, it's not a hard question to ask. It's just how you come in with your approach. I mean, you don't come at a mixed person all angry like, hey, motherfucker, when you mix with. Nah, that's probably not the best idea you've had. But also, sight unseen, you know, when people meet you and they find out you're mixed, they're like, I didn't know you were mixed. And again, if you're not mixed and famous, you know, it's a bit of an issue. So that being said, you know, we tend to, there's not enough mixed people in Hollywood that's noticeably mixed. Alright? Let me explain that, because I know everybody just stopped. Everybody's life just took a slam on the brakes when I said that. Alright. There's mixed where you're passing. There's mixed where you're noticeably mixed. And there's mixed where you're closer related to one race or the other. Alright? Which goes back to basically passing. Alright. So my mom, whose name is Premium Blend, she tends to look more white. So if you throw her in a crowd of white people, you'll never find her. Trust me, I lost her in Scottsville. I also lost her in CVS. My brother's second baby mama lost her in the CVS. So that should tell you, Premium Blend is the perfect name. So when my dad died, we went to Scottsville to a farmer's market, and had she not been wearing those grandma clothes, I'd never found her. I was standing right beside her the whole time and didn't even know where she was. And I'm looking, I'm like, oh my God, there's nothing but white people here, and I can't find my mom. And I looked again, and there she was. So I was like, okay. So found her. It's good to go. Yeah. But it was a thing. So when we went to the drugstore like weeks later, the last thing I was expecting was to lose her again. And she blended in. She stood behind a Asian woman who was about her size, and in front of a tall white dude. So when I walked past her twice and couldn't find my mom. So that was kind of fracked up. So, I thought that it would be slightly funny to tell y'all that story. Now, I've never had to lose my dad because, I only got to spend summers with him, so it wasn't like we had a lot of time together until he got off from work. And then when we got off, we went to the beach and we went to toy stores and shit like that, but there wasn't like a whole bunch of time. But Dad taught me a lot in the time that we did spend together. But I've never lost him in a crowd of people. Alright? Now, the reason for that is my dad looks black. My dad straight up looks black. You couldn't tell me my dad wasn't a black man. He looked straight black. Now, granted, he's mixed, but as I said, all of my granddad's children from my grandmother Bay looked more black than Native American. Now, all of my freaking cousins on that side, mostly the girls and myself, look more Native American than black. Most of the boys have more black features than Native Americans. Alright? Even my two brothers have more black features than Native American. Where, now I can save this damn game. Cut it off. It's raining, so I probably won't be filming tomorrow. Anyhow. Oh crap, I can't cut it off yet. Come on, machine. I can't cut it off until it says turn off the machine. Okay, now I can turn the damn thing off. We're just gonna quit the game. Close out. Cut off the goddamn TV. Alright, good to go. So, when it came to that kind of thing, you have to understand how easy it is to lose one of my parents because of the way they look. Now, when it comes to like your ability to approach a person who is mixed, because it's going to be an issue. A lot of people, it's not going to be an issue. No, it's a fucking issue. Because the thing is, how you approach a person and talk to them in general is generally going to be an issue. But when you're talking to a mixed person, you have to understand it. We know you're going to ask. So you might as well just ask and get it over with. We already know because we've gone through it all our lives. We've gone through it. Some of us a lot more than others. But, it really just depends. So the other thing is, when you're dealing with being mixed and how you can walk through the different worlds of your culture. I honestly pretty much know that I'm never going to be white. So I kind of have to accept everything that is white as that. I'm never going to be white. We have white family members. We do deal with them most of the time, but it's not like we're all having a fucking parade. You know. Now, as for the black part, we deal with them all the time too, because most of the black parts of our family just don't want to embrace the other side of our culture. But we also don't celebrate Kwanzaa and all that other dumb shit, you know. And up until I found out the true meaning of Thanksgiving, Thanksgiving was my favorite holiday because it was the one thing that connected me to my Native American culture. And then it wasn't. I owe that to a bunch of Native girls who flipped the table in a commercial. Now, Thanksgiving will never be my favorite holiday again. But, there's so many Native American things that they don't celebrate because my grandma and her mother before her left the reservation and never went back. So we've never gone to the reservation to meet the other half of that side of our family. So wherever they are, if they're still at the Powhite Reservation, I would love to meet you, but, I'm 47 in like 2 weeks, so I don't really know if that's ever going to be a possibility, and I've been busy, so, trying to get my book deal straight, trying to get my schooling straight, all kinds of stuff's going on just this weekend alone. But, and also trying to get military stuff straight. So, what I know of our culture are stories that my great-grandmother Ada taught me. I know that I do not like corn, and I don't like horses. I also can't carve a canoe out of soap to save my life. So I do embrace my Cherokee heritage. Every now and again I go find something that has something to do with Native American. I have a bow and arrow. Well, I have a recurve bow. It's not a official Native American bow, which is now stuck. So screw that. But I have arrows. But the thing is, I had to embrace my heritage when I got my hip replaced because I wasn't allowed to do martial arts for like the last 4 years and some change. That being said, I embraced my heritage to the fullest. I got pictures of me with war paint in a costume from The Party Starts Here, so it's not full-on Native American regalia, but at the same time, I kind of can feel the energy flow. But I want to end this on a positive note. If you know anybody who's mixed, you can ask them peacefully, how are your experiences? When you talk to people who are not mixed, when you hang with white people, when you hang with black people, when you hang with Asian people. So let me give you the rundown on that. I'm going to probably piss off a lot of people of color with this, so let me apologize before I go any further. I've had reverse racism most of my life, and most of it was through black people. Alright? Oh, you're mixed. You're mixed. You're not a real nigger, you're a half nigger. So, I got that all through grade school. Because you're mixed, to me, meant you're mixed up, not biologically or ethnicity-wise. I just thought they thought that I was just crazy. But once I figured it out, I was like, oh, that kind of mixed. Which, again, for the bulk of my school and grade school, I just thought that I was just black and was blessed with good hair. Because black people do have good hair. I believe most of those black people are probably from Egypt, but we don't think we have any Egyptian ties. I just thought we were black and we were blessed with good hair. I gooped this shit in my hair. Anyway, that being said, I've had maybe 3 or 4 racist incidences from white people. If you don't count the 3 years that the guy kept calling me chief. I've only been called a nigger once by a white person, and I bust her in the mouth. I probably shouldn't have done that, but I did it. I own it. Sorry, but I'm not sorry because she shouldn't have called me a nigger. But, it is just one of them things. And then I had a couple of other incidences with white people where I got jumped on my job one time and some other bullshit. Same job with the white guy that kept calling me chief. But, you deal with it. But most of my racism has come from black people. Oh, don't worry. I'm not leaving off the Native Americans. I have been insulted racially by at least one Native American in at least 2 times. So I had a Native American interest in this girl who was slightly disabled. Not gonna say she was handicapped. She was on a wheelchair basketball team. And her guardian, or whatever the fuck the guy was, because she liked me and I liked her, But his exact words were, "Stay the hell away from her because you're not pure blood." So that hurt my feelings, and they kept us apart. So I never saw her again. I don't remember her name, but she came to Charlottesville. They got like these green cups and stuff from the city for playing ball with us and all. And that asshole probably made it so that I could have never had a wife with that tribe or whatever. They weren't a Cherokee nation or a Cherokee tribe or anything. I don't know what tribe they were. I don't really care. But for this asshole to come at me and says, you're not pure blood, so you can't date one of our girls. I was like, I had never heard the term before that day. And then the only other time I had a racist Native American was from like the same tribe, and another guy's like, yeah, you're not pure blood. You're not a bad person, but you're not pure blood, so you can't really be messing with her. And other than that, any other Native American I've ever met has never given me any slack. I met a nice, beautiful Native American girl in Canada once, and I think she was from the West Coast. I don't remember what her name was, but she was like from Oregon, and she skateboarded, and she was a badass. And because I was shy and stupid, I didn't go after that one. But that happened way before the unpure blood thing happened. Now, as far as other Asian communities going, I have never, ever, ever had a bad experience from anyone who's been Chinese, Vietnamese, Japanese, Korean, or Filipino. Not one. And everybody goes, oh, that's because you look just like them. No, I don't. Maybe the Filipino, maybe the Hawaiian, but not Chinese, not Japanese, and not Vietnamese, theoretically. But, I've never been treated like a dust child. I've never been told anything bad, and I tend to get along with Asians better than I get along with anybody else on the planet. So, it really is about your approach and your experience. Like I said in the other video, when I was in Florida with my surrogate father, and we went to Taste of China, and the guy was just flying off at the mouth, and then he looked at me and thought that I was part Chinese, and then he shut up, and then he went right back after I told him I was part Cherokee. So it's really, how you, I guess, your course of action really kind of sets the tone. But if you're really approachable, and me trying to break into this acting business for 20 years, I have learned that I have to be really approachable, because without fans, I have nothing. And I have followers now, but I don't have enough followers to throw me over the threshold of people really wanting to be interested in me, which is why I hope that the Kung Fu stuff and the lessons that I put out there give you some substance on this channel. I will make a video with this club. No, I don't know when it's going to happen because it's raining. So, this whole weekend might be shot to shit for filming. Good thing there's Mass Effect 3, God of War, and Andromeda, which is probably what I'm going to be doing all day tomorrow, and I also am going to be painting some of these damn things. So, yeah. If I don't get to go out and do anything tomorrow, I will be painting or playing video games. So let me end this on a good note. Alright? If you know anybody who's mixed, and you don't know their story, ask them about their story, but approach them with kid gloves. Being mixed is a strange subject, and it is depending on the person's story, because some people who are mixed have had it really, really bad and really, really rough, and some of us who have mixed have had it borderline. I'm one of the borderline people, and since I talked too long, I'm not going to be able to do my manscaping tonight. That's too much information, but yeah. The whole point of the matter is that, you have to approach everybody different, especially every other mixed person isn't going to be like me, where I'm highly talkative, and so I don't have a problem telling you the good and the bad, because sometimes it's a need to know. But most of the time, for every bad experience, you have good experiences as well. Sometimes you have more bad experience than good experience. It really just depends on that person's situation. And that person's situation and how they tell it and how they talk about it, you will understand how it has affected them. Alright? So I used the N-word tonight on both videos. I'm pretty sure I just used it like maybe 5 minutes ago. But when I was growing up, the N-word, and I hit the girl in the mouth, I had to learn how to not do that. But then, after finding out that I was part Native American, and I owe this to Lou Diamond Phillips. Thank you, Lou Diamond Phillips. Shout out. Um, he made a movie called Renegade because Lou Diamond Phillips. I'm not sure exactly what his ethnicity is. I'm not sure if he's actually Mexican or if he's actually Filipino. But I do know that Native Americans are Asian, and if he's Mexican, he's a Native American. Where if he's Filipino, then he's not Native American. But all the same, in Young Guns, he played a Native American. In uh, Renegades, he played a Native American. And in another movie with Jennifer Tilly, he played a Native American. Which Jennifer Tilly is not a Native American. Joan Chen is not a Native American. Vivian Wu is not a Native American. But all three of them have played Native Americans. Okay? You get the picture here? You see where I'm going? Alright, so let me recap. Jennifer Tilly, I believe, is part Filipino or part Chinese. Joan Chen is Chinese. Vivian Wu is Chinese. They are not Native Americans, but they've all played Native Americans. Lou Diamond Phillips is a wild card because I'm not sure what the hell he is. So, when I learned I was Native American, the word chief became an insult because I'm not the chief. And the main reason why it became an insult, again, thank you, Lou Diamond Phillips, was because of the movie Renegades, where every time they called Lou Diamond Phillips chief, he got enraged and started fucking people up. Native American style. So thank you, Lou Diamond Phillips. However, at that time that movie came out, I was 16. And I was working at Kettler's. And this white guy, I know he didn't really mean any harm by it, because calling people chief became a thing. It didn't matter if you were part of a tribe or not. Everybody was going around calling everybody chief. And I got sick of it. Because this dude, I had a name tag on, he wouldn't stop calling me chief for 3 fucking years. Which is also why I know I got friends in low places. And Don't Tell My Heart My Achy Breaky Heart. Because those are the songs that he played for 3 fucking years. Back to back to back. And I think the Tush Push and the Chattahoochee. But anyway, I like the Chattahoochee. I'm sorry, Alan Jackson. And I'm sorry, Billy Ray. But anyway, and Garth Brooks. But these are the things, whatever this guy was going through, those were the sad songs that he would play and the happy songs that he would play. But the only thing that I didn't like it was this guy kept calling me chief. And I mean, he rubbed it in, and he wouldn't stop calling me chief. And the more I asked him not to call me chief, the more he would call me fucking chief. So it's like he would go home and watch the Renegades movie, like, for 4 days. And when I come to work on Friday, he'd be there. Hey, chief. What's up, chief? On Saturday. Hey, chief. What's up, chief? How you doing, chief? On Sunday. Hey, chief. How's it going, chief? What's up, chief? How you doing, chief? Yippee-ki-yay, chief. And I'm like, if this motherfucker calls me chief one more fucking time, I'm going to go home and get my grandmother's tomahawk and throw it at the son of a bitch. But my grandmother doesn't have a tomahawk. She had a hatchet, and I think I have that in there somewhere. But it's just a fucking hatchet. It's not like a Native American literal hatchet. And it's not like a Native American tomahawk. It's just a fucking hatchet. And when Dad was describing it, I thought it literally was something old and ancient. No, it's just a fucking hatchet. So yeah. That kind of hurt my feelings a little bit. But I still have it. I have it. I have it in that closet somewhere. And I probably need to move it out of that closet and put it in that shed. But I'm scared it might fall on somebody and kill them. So that's why it's in the closet. Because nobody comes in my room. But yeah, as we close out. And I'm sorry, I had a little reminiscing. But yeah, when you're mixed, you have the world at your feet. And you have to embrace all your cultures. And you can go into the black community and talk to them. You can go into the Asian community and the white community and you can talk to them because you live in all 3 of these worlds where that's your thing. So when I said that, because Native Americans are Asian, and I get along better with Asian people than I do with everyone else, it's a thing. So you kind of have to, I think more people get along with Asian people than anyone else, except for now that this corona thing is hitting. They've taken a really bad season of racism. But, the thing is, when you talk to someone, as long as you treat them like a human being, I don't think it's a problem if you ask them and if you can see in their face, like you see in mine, that they are mixed. It's like, yeah, we can have a decent conversation about me being mixed without offending me, And because I've heard it all, it's not going to be too difficult for me to have thick skin about that shit. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. This is Kung Fu Habit number 2. Be seeing you. I also hope that I actually taught you something, especially since this video is 30 actual minutes versus the 48 minutes of part 1. Thanks, guys.